Hello everyone, and welcome to our Python course. In this course, we will learn the basics of this programming language. You'll receive a lot of valuable advice on how to further study this language and acquire all the necessary knowledge to go on an internship in a company as a trainee developer. So, let's get started. The basic information about Python. Python is an interpreted, object-oriented, general-purpose, high-level programming language. Now we will ask, what does it mean? In the start of learning, you may not understand these strange words, but just try to remember it and very soon you will find out what it means. What does interpreted mean? First of all, there are two types of programming languages, interpreted and compiled. Compiled languages use a special program named compiler which translates your code from a high-level language into a low-level, creating a separate program which the processor understands. But interpreted languages use an interpreter which translates your code into a machine language right during the program execution. Python supports multiple programming paradigms, such as object-oriented, imperative, functional, and procedural. An object-oriented language revolves around the concept of an object. These languages were developed to make it easier to expand, debug, reuse, and maintain software than it was possible with earlier languages. General purpose means that you can use this language in a wide variety of application domains. For example, you can use Python in web development, in data analytics, in machine learning, or in DevOps. Although Python features a dynamic type system and automatic memory management. Why should you choose Python? First of all, this language is very beginner friendly. The code syntax is clean and simple, includes keywords from the English language. Compared to other programming languages, Python requires fewer lines of code to execute the same tasks. Its code is faster to write and it's easy to understand for novice developers. The second reason is Python's popularity. If you look at the latest programming languages ratings, Python takes first place almost everywhere. Just take a look at TOB or PyPL. It has a very big community, so most of the problems you will have at the start are solved and all you need is just to make the right Google request. The third reason is career prospects. As I said earlier, Python is a general purpose language, which also means that the number of companies needing Python developers is huge. This programming language is used by companies such as Reddit, Amazon, NASA, Netflix, Spotify, and many others. There are currently nearly 45,000 active vacancies in the United States for Python on LinkedIn. If I have said about the job opportunities, many people may ask, what about the salary? And I have a great news for you. The average salary for a junior Python developer is $72,000 per year in the United States. Now that I have convinced you to learn Python, all that remains is to find out how to start. First of all, you need to download and install the latest Python version from the official website. Then you need the code editor. It can be PyCharm, VS Code, or Sublime Text. Personally, I recommend Visual Studio Code because it doesn't need a powerful PC, has an easy UI, and many options to customize. In this course, I am going to use this code editor. In this video, you have learned everything you need to get started learning Python. In the next part, we will learn the basic concepts and write the first programs. Do not be afraid if you don't understand something. With each new lesson, you will gradually understand the subtleties of this programming language. Thanks everyone for watching. See you in the next video. Hello everyone. Last time we installed Python and you got all the knowledge you need to write your first programs on Python. The topic of this lesson will be variables, data types, and base programming constructions. Well, let's start watching and analyzing the new video. Variables are reserved memory locations to store values. This means that when you create a variable, you reserve some space in a memory. Variables in Python consist of an alphanumeric name beginning in a letter or underscore. Variable names are case sensitive. Identifiers in Python are also case sensitive. It is important to understand that variables in Python are really just references to objects in memory. Everything in Python is an object, and what every newcomer to Python should quickly learn is that all objects in Python can be either mutable or immutable. In my opinion, it is important to see the table of data types in Python. It will help you to systemize all the information I have previously provided. But before we get started, you need to remember two functions, print and type. The print function displays the console what you specified in parentheses. If you want to print the text, you also need to print the quotation marks in parentheses and write the text in it. And about the type function. You enclose the name of your variable in parentheses, and if you enclose this function in parentheses, with the print command, you will get the data type that corresponds to your variable. Now that you understand how these two commands work, I suggest that you try to create variables with me and output them with the print command and use type function to approve it. The first is the Boolean data type. It can take only two values, true and false. Also, this type of data will be displayed if you try to print an incorrect mathematical expression. For example, 3 is more than 5. The second is integer, used to work with numbers. That is, if you give a variable the value of any number, the type of this variable will be int. Also, variables with this data type support all the common math operations. Float is a type of data for working with factorial numbers, or as they are also called, floating point numbers. Variables acquire this type of data if you enter a fractional number in them. String, used to work with text. Variables of this data type can be written in single and double quotes. Strings also can concatenate. That means that you can add them to each other and mix them with other data types like int or float. List, mutable built-in data type. Lists are used to store multiple items in a single variable. To create a blank list, you just need to write square brackets after an equal sign. We will talk about collections in Python in more detail in the following sections. Now, just remember that it's immutable and ordered. Tuple works the same as list, but the main difference is that it is immutable. Set. Sets are used to store multiple items in a single variable, just like list and tuple, but the main difference is that it is unordered and mutable. Dict, the last data type in Python. Dictionaries are used to store data values in key and value pairs. A dictionary is a collection which is ordered, changeable, and does not allow duplicates. Dictionaries are written with curly brackets and have keys and values. So now that you are familiar with all types of data and basic functions, you will receive homework that will allow you to further learn some aspects of programming with Python and understand the material deeper. Feel free to use Google, books, if you can't understand something. If you have done all the homeworks, you can confidently say that you have successfully finished this lesson. Use comments to discuss tasks and for helping each other. From my experience, it helps a lot more than just surfing Google to find a solution. The next part of our course will start with analyzing of every task. In the first task, you have to create a program which displays the current date and time. I'll give you a little hint. To make the program work, you need to import the datetime library and use one of its functions. All the information you need can be easily found on the internet. The second task. You need to swap the two values of variables without creating the third one. In this task, you will need the input function, so you need to Google it. For the next tasks, you have to remember math that you had been learning at school. In the third task, you have to write a calculator that translates centimeters in decimeters and meters. The fourth task sounds like that. Write a program to calculate the area and the perimeter of the rectangle for an entire width and height. The last task is probably the hardest one. You will need to write the program to calculate the length of a hypotenuse on the two entered other sides of the right triangle. That was everything that I wanted to say in this video. I wish you good luck with the homework and I'm waiting for you in the next part.